the Lions team has been announced to take on the First Nations and Pasifika Invitational side. And yeah, it's a pretty good side. A lot of these players here I thought were going to be in the main Australian Test side for the Lions, and maybe they still might. Maybe this. How do we think that this is maybe a chance for some of those guys, some of those dark horses, to maybe play their way into the bench, perhaps on Saturday, maybe even into the starting lineup. It's going to be interesting. I certainly think there is room for one or two. But let's have a look. So let's start with the 1 to 8, which is Piers Skuman, Jamie George, Finlay Beelum. All right. I don't think any of those three at this stage of the game is going to make an impact into the main squad or the main team against Australia. I do think though they are world class players and they deserve to be in the Lions squad, greater squad. But it's a good front row. I'm not sure it's the most powerful front row I've seen, but it's a good front row. It's a mobile front row, and they've all shown what they can do for their respective international sides. Then you've got James Ryan, Scott Cummings. Again, there, I'm a big fan of Scott Cummings. I think he does a lot for Scotland. A lot of the unseen work, a lot of the grunt work. Great engine. I'm a big fan. However, I don't see them replacing either of the locks in the main squad. I think that's just too solid of a foundation. I think, who knows? This is certainly not Australia that they're playing. But I think the First Nations and Pacific team is going to be quite wild, quite strong. So they've shown that in the Super Rugby tournament. They took quite a couple of big scalps between those players on the field. Then let's go to the back row. Now this is contentious because I like a lot of these players: Jack Morgan, Josh van der Fleer, and Henry Pollock. Every single one of those three, I think, could start for the Lions main team. Now, I say that with a pinch of salt because I think the back row on Saturday had a really good game, especially number 7, which especially Tom Curry, which I thought was a very contentious decision based on Jack Morgan's form. But I mean, that I think was put to bed, as I said in my last video with the results reaction. So let's see how they go. Henry Pollock, always exciting, always dynamic, always fast. Not the biggest player, but he's out there showing what the smaller, faster, more dynamic back rowers are. I like him. I like him a lot. I think he brings a lot to the game. I think he brings a lot to the after sales of the game. So if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of that back row. I think it's going to be potent. And if I was any team playing against that, that is certainly something that I would want to shut down and stop. I think they're going to be masters at the breakdown. Every single one of those get over the ball, and I'm not sure how that's going to be stopped. It's interesting to see because so many fetches, they're not the biggest back row you've ever seen, by quite a long shot, but I think they're just going to be super nasty at the breakdown, and I like that. It always gives your team a bit of an edge, and that also tells me that they're not going to go. I don't think this team is going through the middle. I think this team is going to throw the ball around. That pack, very dynamic, very, very dynamic pack. Right, let's go to the backs. We've got Ben White, Finn Smith. I like Ben White a lot. So yeah, Finn Smith, also a prodigy. Someone coming up. I think he's going to be England's fly half for quite a long time. And when you play for that many years, he hasn't. I'm just saying, if you get that amount of time, you can do great things. And I think he's going to be one of those players. He's just within structure. He's almost perfect. I think Finn Russell gets the nod. I don't think either of those two get in front. Ben White's problem is he's got Alex Mitchell and he's got Jamison Gibson Park in front of them, and it's very difficult to get those guys out of the side, to kick those guys out of the side. He is very close and he's world class, but he's just behind those two, so I don't see him making a difference here. He'll make a difference for this game certainly, but for the Australian team, Finn Smith. I'm not sure actually. Perhaps perhaps a bench seat, but I'm not sure they need another full on fly off on the bench. So yeah, it depends on the makeup of your bench, but I don't think there's going to be space for him on the bench. Now, number 12, Owen Farrell and Jamie Osborne. Those are the two centres. Now, this is contentious because I believed, and I still believe, Owen Farrell should start in the Lions. Whether it be 12 or 10, I know you're kicking out two world-class players if he does, but if not start, it's certainly off the bench. And I think he's playing for a bench spot here. He's captain, and he's playing at 12. I'd like to have seen him at I've never liked Owen Farrell at 12. When Eddie Jones made that switch from 10 to 12 for Farrell, I never liked it. I thought he's still a great player and he still did great things on the pitch, but but I don't know. I never liked it. I understand why they're doing it here. I'm a big Owen Farrell fan, so I certainly think that he's playing for a spot. The two wingers, Duan van der Merwe and Darcy Graham, I'm not sure they are playing for a spot in this game. I'm not sure you can count out the wingers from Saturday. I just think they did too much of a good job. And then let's go for the number 15, Blair Kinghorn. Now, he was my starter from the beginning, and I can't remember who started on Saturday. It was the Irishman. I can't remember his name, but I don't think he was very good. I think he was quite. There was a few question marks around his game. So I think Blair Kinghorn has a shot here. And like I said, he was my starter from the beginning of the series. The bench, I'm not sure. Marcus Smith is there. Alex Mitchell's there. Ben Earl may be playing for a spot. Gary Ringrose, perhaps. But I don't see much change. I mean, some of those players are already in the starting lineup, so that doesn't make a difference. But yeah, a very strong side, very dynamic squad side. I think this is going to be. They want to run. They want to put their shapes on. They want to be dynamic. Their forward play is going to be dynamic. I don't think it's going to be punch up the middle. I'm not sure there's much power in this pack. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed. If you like this discussion and like these opinions and want to get involved, please leave a comment, smash that like button, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.